Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, March 6th. Yes, March 6th is the day. We're on the Asian account and we had a watch and learn, so we have a pack to open already. Let's re-roll this while we can. Alright, 50 spells, Paladin, Warlock class cards. It's pretty easy to do at least 2 of these. And then we just kind of need to wrap up the news for the day. In fact, the thing that's going to be the most difficult thing here is just doing the Tavern Brawl. I got 3 wins, on the European account, and that really didn't work for me. So I'm going to see what happens if we do the Whiz Bang here, if we even have that card. Is that not how it has? Is that not how it's spelled? Legendary. See, I don't see how I could not have Whizbang, though, because wasn't everybody given Whizbang? I don't have him. Maybe I disenchanted him for dust or something. Alright. Well, then the next thing to do is just to get a bunch of summons. Like anything that summons anything is fine, because everything is just gonna be it's just gonna be a 1/1 anyways. So minions costing 2 less on this don't really matter, but I guess we could do that. But not less than 1, so yeah, that's pointless. Summon a copy of this minion. Okay. Summon 3 1/1 copies, that'll work good. Murlocs and jugglers and this and see. The other thing could be robots, certainly. You could go with that as an idea. Charge that. But yeah, a lot of this is just straight up play a Murloc deck. That works for almost all the cards, and then we'll just go back to summons. Just anything that summons anything. Take 2 of those. Not take that one. Take 2 of those. Yeah. Take 2 of those. And this is about as far as I can go or care to go with any of this. Take that. Like, I really don't want to think about this Tavern Brawl any more than that. I played 6 games, got 3 wins and 3 losses, and that really only gave me about 35. Yeah, I think exactly 35 more gold than what I got for losing 3 times immediately, which was half the effort.
Your soul shall be mine.
So the only thing I guess I kinda didn't do here is I didn't choose to play any Warlock cards, so we may have to play some Warlock games after this. And we've got a small amount of news, so this probably, like, the timer is going, yeah, timer says there's an hour and 17 minutes because I took a break, and I'm just going to leave it at that. So in about an hour basically we'll be done, I'm sure. Game Sutra has an article. Devil May Cry 5 Deluxe Edition will let players experience the game like a low-budget movie. What they mean by this is apparently they did some stand-in videos that you would do so the animator had something to look at to understand what angles, what actions, and what they want animated in the cutscenes for Devil May Cry 5. And instead of just inherently discarding those stand-in videos, they decided to include them as a kind of deluxe edition exclusive. This really is more of a case of a Japanese company kind of giving you garbage. They call them pre-visualization live-action cutscenes, but yeah, they're trying to push their what is effectively garbage content that nobody really wants to see, as if it is a big selling piece. Let's see. And yeah, it might be funny for a second or two to see the pre-visualization videos, but in the long run it really isn't worth buying the deluxe edition. There's a similar instance, I think, to this to also understand that like I've been watching the Resident Evil 2 speedrun and a Resident Evil 2 casual run. Just coincidentally, I watched the casual run that I said, hey, there's a speedrun, let's see what the difference was for the second game with Claire. And the speedrun started with the classic skins, the low polygon skins of Claire, and after about an hour he said, I'm just tired of looking at this as a speedrunner, which seems weird because it was like the audience's or the chat's choice, so people had donated for I think the skin, and for the player to unilaterally just come in and change it seemed odd and inappropriate, but nobody called them on it or said anything. But he's not wrong, frankly, either. It is only funny for a few seconds to see the old ugly skins of a character or the wrong version of something. A good example would be, like, there's 5 different cuts of Blade Runner. The latest cut is almost universally agreed upon as the right cut to watch. It's only a matter of slight historical interest that you would want to watch the other 4 cuts. Most people are perfectly fine never seeing those other 4 cuts. The game, no, not the game, the movie Legend has 2 cuts, and one cut is a lot better than the other cut. There's really no reason to see that. Star Wars has far too many cuts, but the original cuts, maybe with some of the special editions added or replaced without changing lines or adding scenes, that's pretty much the edition you would want to see. You can see this guy played a pretty good strategy there to do a massive amount of damage. Yeah, the original theatrical release, though, is probably the right release. If they had just remastered the theatrical release without changing anything, people would say by far that is the best version of the Star Wars movies. But they did change something, George Lucas did. I was thinking, it's kind of surprising nobody has hired George Lucas's wife to make a movie or a video game or something. It seems like that's something you could do pretty easily. It's just like, hey, we know you were part of the team there, even if you didn't get credit. Let's have you do something. It'd be really interesting to see if she came out with some kind of story that was way better even if it wasn't like a fantasy Star Wars-esque universe in the first place, if it was something completely different, that would be fine. Moving on, Gamasutra has a article. Cartridge, that's Kartridg, is the latest PC storefront using exclusive games to entice players. Cartridge is Kongregate's digital video game storefront. So they say they'll be hitting the platform as time. There are 4 games that will be hitting the platform as exclusive, timed exclusives. So this is the 3rd of notable storefronts to do this, with Epic Game Store being the most notable, and the Discord Marketplace also doing it, but people kind of forgetting that Discord is doing it because all the games that are coming out were not anything that was announced or known about. The 4 games that are coming out are Anodyne 2, Return to Dust, which I think is actually kind of highly anticipated, so people are probably going to be peeved about that one. Let's see.
Darkness rises.
And what do I want to do? Kill that. Kill that. Do that.
Attack mode.
That.
Why me?
That.
Why me?
And that. Why did I do that? That was terrible.
Job's done.
That was a terrible move. So here's Anodyne on Steam. It is rated very positively. Oh yeah, I heard them talking about this on Giant Bomb, and it's basically a almost directly stolen concepts from Legend of Zelda, which is something I've been looking for a long time, is just give me a straight up Zelda clone game on PC, since we're not going to have that. It's like the Game Boy Zelda in color. Little square. This should be on my follow list. It's $9.99. And then this other game, Even the Ocean, I've seen somebody else speedrunning that. Half Coordinated has been speedrunning this game. And this is also rated very positively. But Anodyne 2 is going to be a timed exclusive, so then that becomes a problem. Draw cards in the turn. So that's a rare instance where a article leads me to wishlisting or following 2 games. The other games are Hell is Other Demons. I think I've heard of that, and I thought that was on Steam. So this does feel like this is a case of games once again being directly removed from storefronts they were already listed to. The next game is Sword and Souls Never Seen, and then there's a game sequel that has no title to Wonder Putt, which I guess is a putt-putt game. Now, even worse than the Epic Store or the Discord Store, I think the Congregate Store having exclusives is way, way worse. That's just more irritants. Like, it feels like maybe over the course of a few years, you might have to give in and buy something on the Epic Store. You might have to give in and buy something on the Discord Store. I would never expect that you would have to buy anything on the Congregate Store. Steam is gonna have to do something, though. They're definitely gonna have to do some concept or some time exclusives themselves just to stay to counter this. And I imagine there's a chance that they won't do anything. Instead, Steam will just sit on its pile of money until its pile of money dries up. They've been extremely complacent as a storefront, and Valve as a game developer has definitely been extremely complacent, and they've let the grass grow under their feet, which has caused them to now be in the position that they are in. Let's do this. And so we need this, and we need this, and we need this, and there we go. Victory. Moving on to the next story, Gamma Sutra has a story. Report: Nintendo is telling mobile development partners to stop players overspending. Nintendo doesn't want to see players spending too much on its growing roster of smartphone games, and has even asked its developing partners to adjust games to stop people from splashing inordinate amounts of cash. This is according to a report by the Wall Street Journal. I think that is a smart move on Nintendo's part. Like, Nintendo being very focused on its branding, even as it has been very open to allow adult games on the Switch more than anything else. They still don't want to get a bad reputation for potentially ripping off kids playing their smartphone games or games that they've licensed or partnered to make. And, you know, Super Mario Run and the other games have not been incredibly crazy with their price tags. Alright. That's gonna give this guy a weapon that's gonna kind of suck.
Put this apple on your head.
So yeah, that's a bit of good news in a world where we rarely get good news from the video game world. Until Nintendo changes its mind. There's plenty of other games out there still that are more than happy to rip off kids or adults with microtransactions and cell phone shenanigans. There we go.
Why me?
Let's see. TechRaptor has an article: Battle in Real-World Cities in Neverdark from newcomers Simteract. This is what Neverdark looks like. I like this art style, although this feels kind of like an oil painting, and I don't know if you can make a full motion game that looks like that. Let's see, it does have a Steam page, so Let's see if this Steam page has a release date. Nope, it's coming soon. So that's mostly just a hype article. Think I'm probably gonna lose here. Can't really do much. Hit that. And that's kind of all I can do. Yeah, so here's what Neverdark looks like on Steam. Looks like it's kind of more of a strategy game than I would have thought it would have been. It feels like it might be pulling city data from something like Google Maps. Well, I'll wait till this comes out officially for real, and then we'll see. See what the reviews say. Put it on the follow list. Kind of feels like it's not my type of game.
Reporting for duty.
Probably could sit back and relax a little bit, not cover all the news so much, but honestly, might as well finish early instead of finish late. So I need to do this first, so I can do this, so then I can do something like this,
Job's done.
maybe. Next we have a game on Steam called Vignettes, which seems like it's some kind of puzzle game that is a collection of vignettes. It's kind of crazy, but in a consistent art style, so it doesn't feel like it's just pre-bought assets as a game. It's $7.19 discounted. Yeah, I'm willing to put this one on the fall list and see what people have to say about it. But like, this could be a nothing game, or it could be something really cool. I don't know if the objects really do change from the perspectives you'll see, or if there's something more to the puzzle game than that. Yeah, I need some more assistance. Next we have the game Gungrave VR, based off the anime, I believe, Gungrave. So it sounds like it's a stand in one place and shoot games. At least it's got possibly a fan base, although I'm not sure that there really is much of a fan base of Gungrave. Gungrave, if I'm recalling correctly, is like an 80s anime that wasn't even that popular back then. This requires VR, and it's $21.24 discounted, so it's asking quite a lot, but it does actually have a decent amount of polish compared to a standard VR game where you would not bother to even do as much as what I'm seeing right now. So slightly interesting, but since it's VR, I think I'm just gonna leave it off the follow list.
Reporting for duty.
And okay, how do we want to do this? Can I do all three now? No. So let's do this to start off with. At the exact same time, we have the game Gungrave VR U.N. So, seems like what they've done is they've broken up two different games, or they've broken up one game to sell as two different games. And it's kind of the same thing, stand in one place, shoot. Actually, you're kind of walking around with a controller. I'm not sure how well this actually would play in VR. Like, this one is $8.49 discounted, and they want you to buy the whole bundle to pay $25.27 for what I don't think is a very long long game. I would dare to suggest it's probably not 10 hours, even between the two games. There we go. And again, because it's VR, I don't see a reason to put it on the follow list. There is also a point to be made here that this is hardly, unless there is a new Gungrave anime airing in Japan right now that I'm not aware of, like, this is hardly a relevant game. Compare that to, say, at least the Sword Art Online games are only a few years old. Gungrave feels, I think, like they are way older. Like mid-90s would be my guess. This guy converted all his health into armor. Interesting move. TechRaptor has an article, Drowning Review, Insulting. Some of these subtitles that TechRaptors put make it feel like they hate the game, and then you go and look at the review and then they still say it's good. This looks like this is probably a low polygon asset flip game from what I can get. They gave it a 2.0 terrible. Summary: drowning story starts boring if relatable and ends up on a note that left me baffled. I don't know what the intent was, but it isn't going anywhere good. Pros: the story feels relatable for a bit. Cons: it's a super slow walking speed, very linear, boring, and then endings are terrible. We should frankly see more reviews for games like this. Like, there should be more bad games getting reviewed by video game reviewers in general. Like, too many people all take it upon themselves to play the games that we already know are going to be at worst mediocre, and nobody's willing to give even a chance to something that might be good, for the risk of playing something that isn't good. And I'm not particularly too different. Like, there's very few games in my Steam account that I just gambled on. Most of the games I picked, I either had direct knowledge were good, or I followed the reviews to see that, oh yes, it's reviewed highly, so it must be good. Let's see. I wonder if there's anything I really even need to do here. I'm just gonna build up my hand. Just draw cards, build up my hand, and be ready to win. TechRaptor has the same article. Congregate secures PC exclusives with premiering on cartridge program. Is the name of it. I guess they have a bit of a video here I can watch. It's 54 seconds. Okay. Let's do this. 3, 4, 5. This and that. And that. And that. And that. Come on, hit this guy once. I'll hit that guy. Give me another card. In the turn. Yeah, Wonderput looks kind of interesting. I stopped paying attention before the video even started showing me anything. Alright. Let's see. So Anodyne 2 Return to Dust looks like a Ocarina of Time clone more than a 3D game. Hell's Other Demons looks like a platformer, bullet hell, fast-paced game. Come on. see, one of the games looks like it's an RPG. Let's go ahead and hit this. Do this. And then win. Wonder Putt does look like it's a putt-putt game of some sort. Well, we've gotten one daily quest done, and need to cast some more spells. Alright, so yeah, I saw the video. It gave me a little bit more of a hype for Anodyne 2. Unfortunately, now that hype is immediately smashed into the ground because it's an exclusive on Congregate for some amount of time. Which, honestly, that's not too bad, though, because I can kind of forget that it exists and move on for some other action, like move on to so many other games there are out there to play. Alright. So I want to do this, I want to do this, and I want to do this. And hit that. We've got a game on Steam called Baseline Sinker. Where's my cursor? Here it is. It's a bullet hell shooter set in the ocean, which is a slightly different idea, but it's not visually appealing. It almost looks like it's doing a paper cutout on top of paper art style on it, which I guess that's what they're going for. That still doesn't really defeat the fact that it's a bullet hell shooter, though. $2.69 discounted tells me it's probably pretty short too. So yeah, not the type of game for me. Alright. I managed to kill my minion. So let's do this again. Hit this and this. See if we can find a family-friendly picture to show for this game. I don't think there is one on this one. Here we have a puzzle game on Steam called Ecchi Girls. That's spelled E-C-C-H-I. It's small puzzles, like 12 pieces, and then anime girls as the background. And this time, they're pushing the limits of what I think Steam should probably allow for their screenshots, particularly. Like, the content of the game is one thing, but there probably should be a little bit more censorship in the storefront itself. This game is 79 cents discounted. It's definitely not, again, not something you should buy. You're probably only going to see 15 pictures at most, would be my guess. And yeah, there's easier and freer ways to get images like this if you know where to look. Particularly if you're just looking for anime girls. There are forums out there. There are places you can go to get probably these exact same images for free. And Pornhub still exists, and it's still free if you're looking for just real girls or something different. And actually, Pornhub does have some selections of people playing adult games on there as videos, as Let's Plays. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. Super Real Mahjong PV for Switch launches March 14th in Japan. This is like a re-release of a really old Mahjong game, I think. And I think we've already kind of talked about this. So don't know if there was more of a story here than that. Like, clearly this is an old, like, 80s anime style that I kind of wish it would come back. Like, the moe style that's being used now is been played out for long enough, in my opinion. Let's see. It's legendaries. Do these things do anything? Not really. GameIndustry.biz has an article. Bright Locker dissolved as devs claim unpaid debts. A holding company takes over the community building platform as developers say they haven't been paid money owed. I have no idea what Bright Locker is, but apparently it was somewhat big. It was a community platform. Community building platform apparently will live on, operated by a holding company with which Cortez has no involvement. Yeah, this was a weird one because it kind of felt like a company was going bankrupt, yet keeping its general ideas as a company going, and so they were basically screwing over developers and potentially investors in the first company, which certainly that kind of shenanigans has happened in business, where you've made a shell company designed to, or a limited liable corporation to protect yourself from having to pay back debts that a normal person would say you probably should be forced to pay back. Let's see, when asked for details like the holding company's name, ownership, and its plan for Bright Locker going forward, a representative said, quote, "I will work to get as much information as possible shortly. For now, the core statement is that the new owners of the asset are very much interested in finding a way to move forward with the concept of the Bright Locker Incorporated created, and hope to have more public information on that soon." That was 5 days ago. So the way this is reported,
Sting like a bee.
like the way this is reported makes Bright Locker sound like they're doing like it seems like shenanigans are happening to me. The bottom part of this article says Bright Locker was conceived as a crowd publishing platform to make games out of user submitted ideas, but launched as a community building platform to bridge the gap between Kickstarter games and early access launches. So it feels kind of like Fig in a lot of ways, although Fig has managed to avoid any major controversy so far. So I guess that's good on them, I suppose. Still, yeah, from my perspective, I've never heard of Bright Locker, so it seems like this is almost a non-story. Let's see. Moving on, we have a game on Steam, Extreme Racing Highway. It looks like a Infinite Racer game, where you're just gonna always drive. The animation's not terrible here,
this guy's
but it is like an infinite racing game, so I don't know if that's something I'd really want to play. They want $1.89 with a 5% discount. I'm probably a little exhausted, and that's why I'm going to be generous on this game and put it on the follow list. There is a slight chance that this might be a decent game for that price. Like, might be worth 5 minutes of entertainment. Which I guess I'm not highly valuing. I'm putting a lot of. If I'm saying 5 minutes is worth $2, that's way too much actually. But whatever. I'll have to evaluate how much my time is worth on a later time. Hey, we've got somebody on the chat. Roberto says, expansion tomorrow? Question mark? Good question. I have no idea. If there is an expansion tomorrow, I'm the first. That's the first I've heard about it. I didn't think it was tomorrow. Let me do a little research here. So this time I got 40 gold in a pack. Let's see. Hearthstone expansion. Let's see, date 2019. One day ago. See, I need to play some paladin cards or spell cards, so let's hop in here. Let's open the cards packs. I'm not seeing anything that seems to include any thought that the expansion is coming out tomorrow. If it does happen, I'll check tomorrow, and I'll be streaming, I guess, all day for that. But that was certainly not my intention or my understanding. So thanks for the tip, Roberto. But I don't know. Is Thursday normally the days that they do expansions? I thought it was Tuesdays. I would believe more that it was Tuesday, but Hearthstone has always been really, really crappy about not telling you when expansions happen and just expecting you to either follow them or log in on a daily basis to find out that there's an expansion. It's really the easiest thing in the world to just say a date, and the past couple of times there's been an expansion, they have set a date at least a week before. They don't set it a lot of time before. When the expansion comes, I have enough gold to open 25 packs and of either classic cards or new expansions, depending on which account I'm on. But then I also have to need to save about 2,500 gold to open the single player expansion that is going to come out, I think, 3 weeks after, or maybe just 2 weeks after. I think it's 3 weeks actually, after the card packs expansions happen. So in this next expansion, you definitely need to save back about 2,500 gold, which sucks, because ideally as a streamer, the thing I would like to do and people love to see is to see me do card pack opening videos that involve opening a lot of packs. I don't know particularly why people like to see the card pack videos, but people seem to like to watch them. And even at that stopped being as big of a deal as it used to be. It used to get me a lot more views. So yeah, that's pretty much a non-answer for me. Sorry. I have no idea. I don't see anything on a cursory Google search. If you believe the expansion is coming, cards are also going to be nerfed, so it's important to use any dust you have to create cards that are going to be nerfed and moved to the Hall of Fame, so you can get some free dust and then disenchant those cards and get your dust get the dust for crafting those cards back also is apparently the system you're supposed to do to make some profit off of that. Moving on with the news, GameIndustry.biz has an article. Academics call for industry cooperation on gaming disorder. Quote, "We are scrambling around in the dark here, lighting little matches and seeing tiny bits of the pictures around us," says Dr. David Zindel. Now, the reason why the video game industry does not want to cooperate with, I believe this is the UN trying to classify video game addiction or gaming disorder as a real thing, because it's not, is because it's not. And any cooperation they give is literally just going to be used against them later on. There are large amounts of countries that want to suppress and harass and literally potentially incarcerate children, claiming it's because they have gaming disorder. There's no such thing as gaming disorder. There's no such thing as video game addiction. There is OCD, obsessive compulsive disorders. And that disorder, which has already been scientifically proven to exist, and it expresses itself in many varied actions, is already on the books. It's already classified. There's no reason to make a new classification. It's unscientific to do so. Any doctor who doesn't see that and realize that is, frankly, being willfully ignorant, probably because they're being paid off by some interest. I wouldn't be surprised if this is straight up the National Rifle Association is paying off doctors to make these claims, or they're getting grants to make these claims. There's a lot of countries that give medical research grants to anybody who claims anything, and so then they'll just have ridiculous findings. So Dr. David Zindel is from York St. John University, and he's been the lead author on 4 of the 7 papers written about the connection between loot boxes and gambling, and argued that game companies have the desperately needed objective data required to better understand the issues of gambling and addiction, but aren't sharing it. Well, here's the problem. That's not gaming disorder. That's an obsession with gambling. That's still just OCD. That's really all it is. You don't need any data there. And this is he's from here's another doctor from Nottingham Trent University, and so these are all British doctors who probably are getting the British taxpayers' money to do these researches and these grants. But there's also a lot of fire and fury in this too, because it's not just this is Britain trying to do it, but the UN is also trying to do it, and other countries are trying to claim this as an addiction, which is it's just not scientific. This article goes on, but I don't think there's anything really else to say here. An article like this, I mean, you just have to immediately dispute their scientific methods in the first place, because they're coming at it from the idea that gaming disorder already exists and is real, and they have to find evidence to prove that, which is a flawed, unscientific perspective to even start a discussion. And so yeah, they're not getting any help. Surprise, surprise. Nobody wants to help somebody who's on a vendetta and out to destroy all video games. It's just the old man get off my lawn mentality. Alright. Moving on, we have an article from Gematsu. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition version 1.2 launches March 7th. Various fixes across all versions, and we can do a little bit of a web peek here. So yeah, some things have been fixed, which is nice. Is there a PC version even of Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition? Yeah, Steam. Fix an issue with certain things would trigger. Steam version, yeah. Yeah. So several fixes for the Steam version as well as other versions. Inherently, this is an example of a Japanese company doing a bad job in every single release. Like the Xbox One, PlayStation, Switch, and Steam versions all have problems that they needed to fix. So Tales of Vesperia could have been better, and it's a Bandai Namco game, and Bandai Namco games often are not the greatest of quality.
I will fight with honor.
See, and that's part of the problem, is that even the big names of Japanese companies aren't known for doing a significant amount of quality AAA releases. So that's also true. EA and Ubisoft aren't known for doing the greatest of AAA releases either these days, but there should be somebody besides Nintendo out there that stands by quality and has always been known to stand by quality, or more often than not at least stand by quality, and it just kind of doesn't happen. Let's see.
Reporting for duty.
Don't want to do anything here. Yeah. We'll play this. Gematsu has an article. Kotodama, The Seven Mysteries of Fujisawa, launches May 31st in Europe and June 4th in North America. This apparently is P-Cube's first original IP game. Looks like it's a visual novel, which would make a lot of sense. It's launching for the PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC. Let's see. What kind of game is it? Yes, it is tagged as a visual novel. Yeah, looks alright. Not terrible. Through the little screenshots I can see here. If you buy the physical versions, you're apparently gonna get some sticker sheets. That's very Japanese, putting in a bunch of kitsch and limited edition things. Let's see. Gematsu has the media create sales for 225 to 33. Let's see what this is. So software sales, number 1 is Dead or Alive, number 2 is Smash Bros. Ultimate, number 3 is New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, number 4 is Anthem, this is Japanese sales by the way, number 5 is Left Alive from Square Enix, which is surprising because then Left Alive dropped in price very fast and is getting reviewed terribly. So people were really excited about it in Japan, and they're very unhappy with what they got.
For justice. Reporting for duty. The battle.
Number 6 is Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee combined. Number 7 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 8 is Kingdom Hearts 3. Number 9 is Zoids Wild King of Blast. Zoids Wild, King of Blast. Number 10 is Super Mario Party. Number 11 is Darius Cosmic Collection. I don't know what that is. I haven't heard of that. Number 12 is Splatoon 2. Number 13 is Jump Force. I'm surprised Jump Force is still hanging in there. And then number 14 is Minecraft Nintendo Switch Edition. Then The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Then Nier Automata Game of the Yorha Edition. I'm a little surprised that's not higher, but I guess everybody had already bought Nier Automata, so that kind of makes sense.
The battle! The battle! For justice!
Take this guy out for protection.
The battle! The battle!
17 is Far Cry New Dawn. 18 is Resident Evil 2, so Resident Evil 2 is falling off the list. 19 is Doraemon Nobit's Chronicle of the Moon Exploration. That's like a kid's game for the Switch, I would assume. And then 20 is Catherine Full Body. So Catherine Full Body in particular is kind of falling apart, or not getting as many sales as you might have thought you would have gotten. And then hardware sales, I don't think the hardware sales are ever really going to change. Xbox One is always going to be at the bottom and Switch is always going to be at the top. There might be slight switches there between the Nintendo Switch and the PlayStation 4, but not really, because as far as hardware sales, there was 68,000 units about of Switches sold. And then PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro combined only sold 18,000. So that's a big gap there. And they only sold 23 Xbox Ones and 67 Xbox One X's. I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft is going to stop selling Xbox Ones in general and only sell Xbox One X's. That would make sense. Certainly. Let's see if this is family friendly enough. No, I don't think this one's family friendly enough. It's the art style here is a little too provocative, I think, for YouTube. Well, the next game I'm looking at on Steam is Nyasha, Nyasha. It's tagged nudity and sexual content, but it's just a puzzle game with some anime girls in different style. Now, I would say this is a different art style. It's more CG-esque, and it's not going for really moe, short and young, cute looking anime girls. These are more mature, older women. Yeah, maybe I could show this one if this just decides. So we'll do a quick peek here. So yeah, you're getting an art style more like this instead. They want 59 cents for this discounted, and it's 32 achievements. And then it has DLC also for 99 cents. Let's play that. Again, not games I recommend people buy, but they're there. They're allowed on Steam. This is about the 4th adult, mature, immature, lewd games. I don't know what you even want to call it. That was published on Steam this week without any real problems. Moving on, Gamatsu has an article. Mortal Kombat 11 adds Casey Cage, Jockey Briggs, and Aaron Black, a story trailer, and some gameplay. That's a whole mouthful, so we'll just web peek all that. Jockey Briggs and Aaron Black. This, I assume, is Casey Cage. Let's see if we have any more pictures here. No.
My magic will tear you apart.
Here's the thing.
My magic will tear you
Here's the thing I would say about this is you've got the accusations going of benevolent sexism in Mortal Kombat 11, which is the benevolent sexism is the concept that women need protection, they need to be covered up and not put in a spotlight or sexual light, and even if that is within their character or even their own desire, it is perhaps coming from it's usually coming from a good place, but it is just as bad as the other kind of sexism, which is usually thought of as hate or discrimination or dislike or lack of preference. And so you have this series of Mortal Kombat games. There's 11 at least of them, and it has always been a series that has been built around sex and violence and females and males in less than totally covered clothing. And then this 11th one, it's basically up to the elbow. I'm seeing no leg on Casey Cage at all. She's got full pants, high boots. She's got a shirt that covers past her elbow, so you're seeing her face, her forearms. She's got gloves covering arms. It's ridiculous. Now there was a possibility for them to pull out of this pattern, which they've been doing for all the female characters so far. They could have said, well, we're gonna cover up the older characters because this is in the future. Casey Cage being the daughter of Johnny Cage and I think Sonya Blade. So I could see why you would say Johnny Cage is old, Sonya Blade is old. Let's cover them up, and let's introduce the combat kids, as they're called, and make them the spotlight, because they'd be young, and it would make sense character-wise, even if you dress provocatively in your youth to dress less provocatively as you had a kid and got older. But that's not what's happening here. Every single female character is getting not to be provocative, they're basically getting burqa'd here. They're being forced into covering most of their skins by the creators of the game. I don't know if forced is the right term. And there's no new characters coming in that are counterbalancing that. And the male characters are still, in some instances, perfectly fine to be completely shirtless and shown in the same sexual light that they have always been shown in, as being muscly, strong, and often shirtless. So yeah, the slight controversy there, it's still happening. Let's see, I guess I could look at some of these other videos. The video here of Kano that I'm looking at, fighting a character named Garrus. Both of these characters are showing, have sleeveless shirts, so they're showing more arm than any of the female characters I've seen. Let's see. Here's another character that's showing quite a bit of arms and shoulders. That's male. So yeah, there's clearly a different standard being held to the different genders. On top of just a movement of what Mortal Kombat has been as a game and as a series, away from being something that was designed to be pushing the edges and going as far as possible with sex and violence. Now it's become this almost ridiculous puritanical game that just happens to have violence in it. And who knows, maybe by the time Mortal Kombat 13 comes around, maybe there'll be no more fatalities. Maybe there'll be no more violence, no more blood.
Flames consume you.
Moving on, TechRaptor has an article. Stainless Games Green Man Gaming partnership gives birth to a brand new IP. So Green Man Gaming and Stainless Games are working together. They're making a brand new unnamed intellectual property at some point in the future. This is a non-story at this point. There's like no details. We have no name. We have no idea. This is not something that needed to be reported on. This is one of those hype articles that people should just not bother to reprint. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called Putting Around, which is a putt-putt game. I've seen a lot of these. I'm not sure I really want to play any of them. This might be really good. It might not be. It's early access, $4.99. This is the kind of game that I'm willing to miss. Like, even if this turns out to be amazingly good, I'm willing to either just be unaware that it's actually really good and never play it, or let it become so good and so popular that people are talking about it, say a year from now when it comes out of early access. But for now, I don't think it needs to be on the fall list even. And a year from now, there's probably going to be a dozen more putt-putt games like this, because all of this is just pre-bought assets for the most part. So I see no outstanding specific thing that only this game could offer. So there probably would just be a replacement of some other putt-putt game that's even better than what this is. TechRaptor has an article. Phantom Doctrine core team departs as Creative Forge Games appoints a new CEO. Which that sounds crazy. According to a Twitter post and a comment on the forum RPG Codex by Kasper Szymanska. I have no idea how you pronounce this. Former lead designer at the Polish studio Creative Forge, the core development team that produced Phantom Doctrine has departed the company in the wake of managerial troubles. Interesting. So you usually aren't so public about leaving a company. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if I'm surprised more people don't say things like that are blatantly untrue to screw over an employer. Like, if I was like fired from a company and it was really bad, I would give it a thought at least to put on Twitter, hey, everybody at this place has just quit because of the terrible management, even if it's not true. That might be actionable. That might be straight illegal. But yeah, I'm surprised more disgruntled employees wouldn't say things like that. But then when you're talking about the video game industry, everybody is a little bit higher of level, so you're not just gonna try and backstab your old corporation because it just looks bad on you. And it's not the idea where you can just slander McDonald's because Burger King doesn't care and they'll hire you. If you slander the game company you're working for, you used to work for, you're probably not going to get hired by another one. But all that is speculation. I have to take this as truth. The game Phantom Doctrine team is gone. Let's see. Following a divisive critical reception and a fair share of technical issues, the game struggled commercially, which resulted in the previous CEO, who I can't pronounce his name either, resigning. Then the person who tweeted stepped in as an interim CEO before resigning himself and then quitting. How do you resign and quit? Isn't that the same thing? That's an interesting thought. As per LinkedIn, a new person, whose name I can't pronounce, all these Polish names, became Creative Forge's new CEO in February. Let's see. Scrolling down to the bottom, TechRaptor gave Phantom Doctrine a 9.5 out of 10.
Let me think.
So, they liked it at least.
Repent.
Let's see. See if we can find it on Steam.
That was a mistake. Handle it! The battle! The battle!
Okay. So here's the game Phantom Doctrine. Oh yeah, I think I remember this. This one was kind of like a XCOM-esque game. No, actually, I don't think I do remember this game. We can see in the last 30 days it's got some mixed reviews. Overall, it's struggling around 73% positive. Yeah, it had this XCOM element to it that wasn't really what I think it was selling itself on. And I guess at this point, what do you take from that information when you have the entire creative team apparently has quit a company? So if you buy the game now, you're just supporting a company that does not have any of the talent that made that game, so they almost certainly will never make this style of game again, or this level of quality of game again, which is probably a good thing because the game didn't sell in the first place. So yeah, I don't know what you take from this. In the end, if I'm gonna play an XCOM style game, I probably should just play XCOM. There's plenty of versions of XCOM out there. Phantom Doctrine, by the way, is $45.98 for the deluxe edition and $40 about for the regular edition, so it's way too expensive for what it looks like. Let's see if maybe there's some negative reviews. Yeah, I think I remember even reading negative reviews.
Let me think.
Because it was just kind of inconsistent all over the place with what it was.
The battle!
I fight.
That.
The battle! For duty. The battle!
So yeah, I guess that's a slightly interesting revelation, and it is real news, but I guess in the end it just means I shouldn't play the Phantom Doctrine. So if it is on my wish list or if it's on the fall list, I'll have to try and remember that and remove it from the list. Let's see, TechRaptor has an article. We already talked about this. Gwent's Crimson Curse expansion arrives this March. There's a trailer video for it. I seriously doubt Gwent is going to be successful right now. That was a mistake. all of these.
What a bond.
The battle! The battle! The battle!
Only have a couple more articles, and then I guess we might be done for the day, although there is a little bit more daily quest to do. And how did he kill that entire... because he played... I don't know what he did, actually.
For justice! Job done. Reporting for duty.
Next we have a game on Steam called Undead Horde, which seems like it's maybe kind of like a Pikmin game, or is this just a real-time strategy game? I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm sold on this or not. It feels more like it's a real-time strategy game than an adventure overlord style game or Pikmin style game. It's $13.49 discounted. Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything in the screenshots that catches my attention. So it's rated positively, but I just don't think it's for me.
Out of my jungle!
Let's see. Do I want this? Yeah, let's just play that.
For justice! Job done. Reporting for duty.
Gamma Sutra has an article, we already talked about this. Shakedown Hawaii coming first to the Epic Games Store. That's a odd way to phrase it, but whatever. It's a time exclusive for the Epic Games Store. I think there's more to be said than just to say it's coming first. When it's a timed exclusive. Because that's ignoring a controversy.
For justice! Reporting for duty.
Next we have a game on Steam called Unroaded, which looks like it's a very low effort kind of walking simulator text game. Yeah, I don't see anything. I kind of like this art style, but then this art style is nowhere close to that art style. So this feels like it's just all pre-bought images. It's free to play with DLC, English and Russian. This feels like a troll game to me. 5 achievements seems a little low, so it might be an achievement game also. Yeah, nothing. Man, this guy is destroying me.
For justice.
TechRaptor has an article. Chucklefish is releasing Wargroove, a Wargroove quality of life patch tomorrow. I've heard a lot of people talking about Wargroove. If we just do a web peek here, it looks like a pretty boring game to me. So I don't know why so many people are talking about it, but whatever. A patch is out, and if you do like Wargroove, I guess the option is out there. A lot of the Western video game journals talking about a game like Wargroove is in a small part insulting, because it's an intentional non-coverage of all the other JRPGs that Wargroove clearly is stealing ideas from. So if you're not gonna play all the 8-bit JRPGs that are good out there and review them, you really have no business playing Warcraft. either, just because it's a somewhat Western developer, Chucklefish, developing it. Alright. Where are we? We're nowhere on the Paladin cards, and we're kind of nowhere on this. Let's see what our Hunter deck is and see if that's a Spell Hunter deck. And then let's look at our Mage deck. Hunter, spell. Yeah, it's a Spell Hunter deck. That's good. Apparently I forgot to turn all of the cards into dust when I opened the packs. And let's see. What are the cards that they think are new? That might actually be new. But who could tell? That almost certainly isn't new. Alright. So if I come back over here and play Hunter, then this should be a good way to play 13 Hunter spell cards, and then this should be the last game we should need to play. Game of Sutra has the same article we've already talked about. The Steam's popular upcoming list may actually be hurting developers. This is wrong, as I understand it. It's not the popular upcoming list, it is the upcoming list alone that's being manipulated. Although there might be a way to manipulate the popular upcoming list. It would mean that your game would have to be somehow popular in the first place. So you'd have to get a lot of people to follow / wishlist your game, which is I imagine where the popular upcoming comes from. And from that point, once your game is wishlisted, then start manipulating your release date so you stay at the top of the popular upcoming list. And honestly, there should just be somebody at Valve looking at that and making sure that is not something that's allowed to happen. Let's just keep on doing this. Game of Sutra has an article. Nintendo announces a Tetris 99 Maximus Cup tournament. Let's see. Challenging players to come in first place as many times as they can for a chance to win 999 My Nintendo Gold points. I have no clue what you do with a My Nintendo Gold point. No clue whatsoever. Maybe that buys little ROMs off the eShop or something. Let's see. The tournament begins at March 8th at 5 a.m. Pacific time and runs through March 10th at 11:59 p.m. Players who come in first place the most times will be in the running as one of the 999 contestant winners. So it's a pretty good chance if you're really good at Tetris 99. And if you're really good at Tetris 99, you probably are going to be playing during that time price anyway. So yeah, maybe you will get some Nintendo points to buy something. Maybe. But probably not. I like to enter contests personally when there's a lower number of competitors. Like, I'm willing to totally believe I have no chance of winning, say, the lottery, because there's just going to be so many people competing. But if there's some YouTuber who's big enough to be believable that they'd actually run a contest and actually deliver to the winners, which a lot of YouTubers run contests and I don't think actually ever do deliver anything, just to get views and comments and likes. But if you trust a YouTuber, there's probably only 1,000 to maybe 1 million people that are gonna see that video, which means it's probably closer to 1,000 at most people that would actually enter the contest, which that's not 50-50 odds or anything like that, but it's way better odds than playing the lottery. Of course, you also have to balance the amount of time it takes to fill out any of that stuff. If this really is just wasting your time to even enter it, or whether you've got that kind of free time. I'm on the Humble store now. They have Humble Indie Bundle 20. So if you pay what you want, $1 is required for a Steam code. You can get a game called The First Tree, Tangle Deep, and Among the Sleep Enhanced Edition. If you pay more than the average of $3.83 right now, you'll get Getting Over It with Benet Foddy, Tooth and Tail, and Dream Daddy, a Dad Dating Simulator. I actually think this is probably a great bundle for me because I don't think I own any of these games, and for $4 to get 6 games, that's a good deal. Now if you pay $10 to get to the top tier, you'll get a game called Overgrowth. I would say that deal is pretty bad. So I wouldn't recommend that one. See if there's any other bundles worth mentioning.
Items quickly. I hunt alone.
They have a book bundle, the Horus Heresy 2019 on Humble Bundle. And again, the only reason I promote Humble Bundle over anything else is because you can give 100% to charity in almost every bundle, so you have to check. There's a Star Trek 2019 comics bundle. There's a gaming comics bundle. Let's see what that is. And there's some other bundles that don't really matter to me. Let's see. So you could get Assassin's Creed Uprising Volume 1, Assassin's Creed Awakening Volume 1 and 2, Warhammer 40,000 Volume 1, Warhammer Blood Bowl Volume 1, Assassin's Creed Origins Volume 1, Dark Souls Volume 1 for the first tier. If you pay $8 or more, let's see, let's do this and this. If you pay $8 or more, you get The Evil Within Volume 1, Dishonored Volume 1, Assassin's Creed Uprising Volume 2, Warhammer 40k Volume 2, Warhammer Dawn of the War 3 Volume 1, Dark Souls Volume 2, Sea of Thieves Volume 1, Quake Champions Volume 1, and Tekken Volume 1. And if you pay $15 or more, you get Assassin's Creed Uprising Volume 3. Do you get Volume 2? Bloodborne Volume 1, The Depth of Sleep, Warhammer 40k Volume 3, Warhammer 40k Deepwatch Volume 1, Little Nightmares Volume 1, Wolfenstein Volume 1, The Evil Within Volume 2, Life is Strange Number 1, Dark Souls Volume 3, and Dishonored Volume 2. So there's a lot of game-based comic books here. Are game-based comic books good? No. Pretty much that's a simple answer to that one. Right. Just trying to... Can't attack him because he has stealth. So... And this really isn't a spell, so we'll just end the turn there. So yeah, I wouldn't really recommend that. And particularly the comic book bundles, you're not getting actual books, you're just getting e-books. So that's kind of a high premium price compared to the video games, which are interactive and much better deal. See, that leaves me with kind of no news, so I can go back to my Twitter feed and see if anything new happened. We may have a somewhat short Friday, which is good. Alright, what do we want to do here? This. that and that. Let's see. Yeah, we can talk about that on Friday. Don't need to talk about that. Friday. We cast 25 spells, so we've got all our daily quests done. There's a game we can talk about on Friday. Nintendo introduces Nintendo Labo VR kit. That's a little bit smarter than Labo in general, I would say. At least they're moving in the right direction. Let's see. So I'm scrolling down Twitter just to see if there's anything else. What's funny is I didn't hear anything about a Nintendo Direct, so I don't know why they would introduce a new Labo thing. See, March 7th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, the Hearthstone will be doing a Reddit AMA, answer your questions about the upcoming Year of the Dragon. So I doubt they would be making a AMA right at noon to say the new expansion is out right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if it did happen actually too. But I kind of don't believe it. I think they're going to wait until at least Tuesday, if not Tuesday from a week from now, next Tuesday or the next Tuesday after that. Yeah, I'm just scrolling down. Let's see. Not a lot of news this Wednesday, particularly when you ignore the non-controversies. Non-controversies. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just scrolling down. Sorry, there's no content happening. We started streaming about 4 hours ago, so I think I've seen everything at this point. Anyways. Because I'm seeing things from like 5 hours ago. Twitch says we're slowly rolling out live activity feeders for creators from the mobile app to your live dashboard. Okay, whatever that means. Yeah. So, I'm back to the point where I've seen everything on my Twitter feed. So, we're done. Pretty decent stream, I guess. We got one comment, not too bad. And I've got some work to do. Scheduling, maybe working on a side project for the chat that I was thinking about doing. And I need to make sure I have crafted all the Hearthstone cards that are going into the Hall of Fame. That's going to be it for the stream. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.